Scotland is a beautiful country, and it's been wonderful to be a part of life here. I've completed my first year at Edinburgh Theological Seminary, and it's been amazing to see how God has worked throughout the year. Let me show you a bit of Edinburgh while I tell you about my life here in Scotland. While it is the home of Presbyterianism, the church in Scotland has seen major declines over the past century. As the culture has become increasingly secular, the church has faced many challenges to its doctrinal positions. The Church of Scotland, the mainline denomination, has adapted to these changes by weakening its position on biblical truths in an effort to align with the culture. It has seen a decline in membership. The general mood of the country seems apathetic to religion, and there is a real need for men and women with strong biblical-based convictions to engage with communities around Scotland to share the gospel. While this is a real challenge, there are a few churches that are seeking to do this. The Free Church of Scotland holds firmly to biblical truth while seeking ways to engage the culture. While there hasn't been a massive spike in church membership or attendance, there is an active church planting movement. I am involved at Cornerstone, a church plant of the Free Church in the Morningside area of Edinburgh. Our vision is to be a new church that enables others to get to know Jesus by building friendships, creating community, and through humble and thoughtful telling of the gospel. The community aspect of Cornerstone has been really encouraging as it includes both the Scots and internationals in Edinburgh. God has given me the opportunity to share in this vision as I help lead music at the Sunday worship service, get involved with community groups, and meet up with people for meals or coffee. I think the biggest way I have seen this being worked out is through the music at Cornerstone. At the beginning of this year, my practical theology class was studying pastoral care. Each student was to work with a local ministry and mentor to experience pastoral care firsthand. I asked the pastor of my church, Neil McMillan, if I could work with him and the musicians at Cornerstone. The project had two components. First, I would lead short devotionals at the start of our practices, and second, I would meet up with each musician one-on-one for a pastoral visit. I hoped that this would be more than just a school project, and in many ways, it has been. I was able to sit down with several people from the church and hear about their backgrounds and what their lives are like. When Neil and I met with the band leader, she was able to share how she had prayed for the band and had seen it grow both in number and musical talent. She also shared how she had been praying about finding someone else to lead the band and asked if I would be willing to volunteer to take on some of these responsibilities. As you may know, leading worship is a particular interest of mine and has been one area I've been thinking God may call me to. I said yes and have sought to continue the work I started with in this class project. In reflecting on the year, I cannot help but thank God for the many answers to prayer. From being accepted to Edinburgh Theological Seminary to finding a place to live, a job, and a church home, God has given me exactly what I need. You have also been part of this. Please join me in thanking and praising God for His answer to our prayers. Thank you for praying for me and supporting me. God's work can be difficult and His ways challenging, yet His grace is sufficient. I sent out a newsletter a few weeks ago detailing what I'll be doing this summer. One of the highlights from this email is that I will be going to the Czech Republic again to teach English at the English camp. If you remember last year, I was fundraising both to go to this English camp and to come to seminary. This year, God has graciously provided for the English camp through my home church, South Dayton Presbyterian. They have offered to cover a majority of the cost out of the surplus from last year. As I follow God's call to train for the ministry and live and work here in Scotland, I'm looking for people who would be interested in partnering with me. This year, I'm hoping to raise $5,000 for tuition costs. If you are able, would you please consider joining me in this ministry? There is information below in the video description on how you can do this. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Also in the video description, you'll find a link to my blog where there's a more blow-by-blow update on school, work, and church life here. Thank you so much for your continued support.